Welcome guys, it's ALSCNC Workshop. Today we're going to talk about routers and spindles, VFDs, and what the differences are and the bearability. A lot of people who got a router on their machine and know what I'm talking about. That constant resonance of a router running at full chat or 20,000 RPM, it's unbearable. If you're in a workshop, and you can be a little bit further away from the machine, that's fine. But I find that they're just a little bit too noisy. And I've got this Makita, which is the 702C, and there's a little bit of wobble on the bearing. Just a tiny little bit. I mean, if you're doing hand routering, that's fine, but yeah, I just find that this is a little bit too much, this this router. And the other problem with this is a UK model. I'll just bring the camera down. This is a UK model, and I believe in the UK all modern routers now have this safety system in it. If you see there's a I'll just turn the power on. See there's a green light on there. Alright, it'll start. Alright, turn the power off, turn the router on, turn the power back on, red light flashing. It's telling you it's in lockout. So if you've got a relay on your machine that kicks in, turns your vacuum on, turns your router on, these don't work. You then have to turn it off, turn it back on. It's a pain in the ass, because if you forget about it, it's already dove into the material on your bed, and it's dragging the bit in. It has happened on a bit of 18mm pine with an 8mm bit in it, actually started cutting without the spindle spinning. So that's why I've decided to go with a VFD. Noise, reliability, and I've got it wired so it turns itself on and off with a FoxAlien controller. I can turn it on and off on my open build control, so I can turn it on. Let's get the mouse working. Variable speed test. So I'm going to go 10%. This is 24,000 RPM. There you go. It's running at 2,400. Yeah, the frequency varies. That's why it's called a variable frequency drive. Right, super quiet. 10%. So let's go. Variable speed 50. So we're nearer the 12,000 now. Variable speed 75%, it's 18,000. 100%, 23,830. Okay. Router off. Okay, so the way this is wired, obviously you've got your standard wire for the drive, but the way it's wired into the controller is through the laser connection on the back of the controller. So I made up a cable using the little plugs. I can't remember what they're actually called, but they're the PWM sockets, and then that's wired on this cable into here. We will show you. There's a big shout out to TK Designs, which I'll put a link for that video in the description of how to wire this, and then there's another video on how to change all the settings. I have got the settings all written down so that you can control it and you've got to fiddle about with your voltage settings from your PWM or PMW, whichever way round you say it, to control the frequency. So if I press set and I go F72, press set, I've got mine at 240% because my it's just this figure here is to make it run at the desired speed. So you have to fiddle about with them a little bit, and you need a tachometer to check it on the spindle. If you're within a couple of RPM, 100 RPM, I wouldn't worry about it. So just go escape. Alright, and the next one I think is F70. So set. That's on 0, 0, so that's asking for a voltage from the laser socket of 10 volts, which is the default on this VFD. I did try it on 5 volts, and it just reared up to 24,000 every time. So it's looking for a certain signal to tell the drive how to change its speed. Alright, but all the settings I'll either screenshot it and pop it into the video here, and you can take a photograph of it, or you just watch the video from TK Designs. Worked perfectly. If your spindle's spinning the wrong way round, you just change round 2 of the cables, not the V, the W and the U, change them round, and it'll spin the right way. Alright, so that's that part of our thing today on the VFD. Like I say, it's super quiet. Obviously you're going to get the noise off the tool, but this thing, you know, running at number 4, and on the machine, the resonance of it vibrating through the machine, through the table, echoing in here, this thing going on as well, it's just unbearable. So it's something to think about, guys. You know, this is not much dearer than what that was. I think that was £125, something like that. This was 170 with the controller. Obviously you got by the shielded cable. That's what that braid is. There's a shield on there. It's earth to there. It's wired into the earth link there, which is just like on a Wago to make it easy. And it just takes any noise, any static, any problems out of the cable. Alright, so the next thing that we've done on this machine, let's get rid of that, turn it off. We put linear rails on, and the linear rails, instead of the metal wheels grinding on this rail, is that you get a super smooth you know, movement. It does feel or sounds like it's moving a lot nicer. And obviously got 2 stainless steel wheels running on a stainless steel runner. It can get quite noisy, so that's probably worth another upgrade on this machine. But the most important thing was the noise off of that. It's just, you know, you go out of the workshop and then the resonance of the noise is just unacceptable. So still had a few problems with this machine, mind. Decided to run it again on the Mac. Mac's far too fast for this machine. It got 3/4 way through a job, bam, just stopped. It does it all the time. So I've got my old laptop, I've rebooted it, there's nothing on, there's no internet switched on, nothing's running in the background. The only thing I did do is I had to update the graphics card, because when you changed from macro view to 3D view, it's taking so long to change over, because I just had the normal Microsoft graphics driver, so this has now got its original graphics driver installed, and Visual Basic C++, obviously, to run the driver. Apart from that, there's nothing else running, no internet, no nothing. What I do find is if you don't shut down open builds properly all the time, you get interference. And the same with Carveco. Carveco had issues with it crashing, and then it's because I'm closing the laptop down, moving it back indoors, doing some more drawing, and then bang, it freezes. You can't save anything, you've lost everything if you haven't saved it. The auto save or auto recovery on it, I'm struggling to find where it's putting the file. It doesn't actually tell you where it's saving it to, so that's no help for anybody. So it seems like everything's working. So when you shut down open builds, if you press that up there, the cross, it closes this screen. It doesn't actually shut down open builds. You need to go into there, right click, quit open builds, alright, and that'll turn it off completely and reset it all. Otherwise, yeah, I find that it runs into a bit of, it gets a bit aggravated. Alright guys, so hopefully that's helped a few of you out. That's a 65mm spindle, the same as the router, and it's quite heavy. It's concerning when you first take it out of the box that you think this is quite heavy. Is it gonna put extra tension on the machine? But look, I mean, that's rigid. And when I put the 65mm clamp back in off of the bed of the machine, I use a square, right, put it on there, and actually this clamp is bolted to that back plate, so it's best to put it on there, make sure that it's absolutely square with your bed, alright, and then you get perfect cut. You don't get any lines where it's not cutting flat. It seems to work perfectly good that way of actually setting your spindle head to your bed. Well, obviously make sure your spoil board is flat to the machine and it's been surfaced. You know, don't just get a bit of MDF, because you know this is 12mm board. That corner it might be 12.2, that corner might be 12.5. Just make sure you surface your surface board before doing any of that squaring up, or you know, do it and then surface it with the bit and see what it looks like. If you've got big massive lines in it, it's not square. Alright guys, so that's just an update today on the FoxAlien XE Pro and its upgrades. And the other thing I find as well is this cable on here, this socket, that very loose. It doesn't come out, but look, it wobbles about. I think that's an issue that FoxAlien need to look at. Maybe they should put small aviation connectors on these motors or something instead of these, and the power one just pulls straight out if you pull it. This one at least got a tag on it to hold it in, but yeah, they wobble about, and it's always been the X that's caused the problem. When it's moving in the X direction, whether it's going left to right or right to left, it's always that stops when this fails. The other thing with the, I'll get to this now, the other thing with the router in and the vibration it's causing, it's resonating through the table, the power plug come out the back of the controller at the back here momentarily. Of course, closed loop motors send a signal to move, and it also sends a signal back to say it has moved to that exact coordinate. That's where you get the, and they will stop if they don't get that signal, come back to say it's actually done that coordinate. So say X10, Y50. If it doesn't get that signal back, it'll stop. So yeah, the power plug came out the back, and every day I make sure I shove it in as hard as I can. That seemed to cure the problem, but it, you know, with all the vibration and everything, it's just too much for all of this. Get yourself a VFD, perfect little machine, nice and quiet. I mean, if you're running a machine on a 400 watt spindle, you will know the difference in the sound. You haven't obviously got the power. This is 1.5 kilowatt, so it's twice the power of that router. Super quiet. Run it for an hour. Didn't get, it's warm but it wasn't hot, and the tool was nice and cool. Alright, thank you guys. If you like the content, subscribe, hit the notification bell and get notified when we do more videos. Alright, so that's me logging out. Cheers.